There's a lot of great content creators that talk about the importance of sound effects in their videos, but I haven't heard this topic talked about in the realm of real estate videos, probably because that sounds like it's going to be really boring. But this is not going to be boring. So along my journey as a real estate filmmaker, I have had the privilege of filming countless properties that range from shimmy shack double wides out in Timbuktu, suburban cookie cutters, multi-unit high-stacked condo buildings, and even multi-million-dollar mansions. And though the look and feel of those videos vary dramatically from project to project, there is one single thread of continuity that is very consistent with all of them: storytelling. Good storytelling is the most important element in a real estate marketing video. And this is exactly why I'd like to talk about using creative sound effects within the sound bed of your edits. Because good storytelling means that your production had the ability to fully immerse the viewer. It gave them a more 3D effect and not only kept them more engaged with the property, but better yet, triggered a call to action to actually make an appointment to go see the property. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. In this golf course home, I added post-production fire to make the family room appear more cozy and added a TV scene that reminds the viewer that this community is all about the golf. By the way, even though this has nothing to do with today's video, look at the composition without the TV and the fire scenes and then after. Huge difference, but let's get back to the sound design. After you've chosen the sounds you want to use, pull them into the timeline below the appropriate clip. Line them up so that the sound effects match perfectly with the action in the clip. For the golf swing, I stopped the playhead at the exact point the ball was struck and lined up the peak of the sound wave with the playhead. The fire was pretty easy. I just simply trimmed the effect to align with the clip. Now let's watch and listen to the before and after of this scene. Here's a common establishing shot from drone footage of the community, followed by a smooth zoom transition revealing the front of the house. Here I'll need to use two different sound effects. A helicopter sound effect will add perceived importance to the scene, and a whoosh sound effect will support the transition between the two clips. Again, let's watch and listen to the before and after of this scene. Here's some twilight footage of a gorgeous pool. It's pretty nice as it is, but you can draw a much deeper connection with the audience by simply adding some night sounds like crickets and a waterfall sound effect. How about these unique, one-of-a-kind custom faucets? They look pretty hip, but somehow they look so much better when you bring in a running water sound effect. Does your real estate video include the community park? Well, of course it does, but look how much more alive this scene is when you add in some chirping birds and other ambient sounds. Hey, and what about that community pool? A sneak peek of a community pool is a lot more believable when you can actually hear the girls swimming. In a segment like that, when you cut to the underwater scene, you can take your music track and mute it to sound like it's underwater as well. So as you can see in these few examples, when you use the right sound effects, it can really help tell a more immersive story in real estate videography. And since you're still here watching all of this, I want to give you two things to consider when you're implementing these custom sound designs within your project. Number one, try not to overcrank the effect. Sound effects should help support what the viewer is seeing in the video. If they're too loud, they can become irritating and downright obnoxious, so don't do this. It can be too much. Number two, carefully select the most appropriate sound effect. There are tens of thousands of sound effects out there and tons of places online where you can download them. Please choose wisely. If it's a big, huge waterfall, it should sound more like this. Definitely not this. If it's a small water feature that you're showcasing, it should sound more like this. And not this. So if you do real estate videography, I really hope you found this helpful. And even if you don't do real estate videos, these are still some pretty good principles to apply to your projects. Now, as always, before I go, I want to address some of the comments I got in my last video on the sequential hyperscale zoom effect. We Are Chapters asks, where does one acquire unicorn dust? Asking for a friend. Yeah, right. I'll put a link in the description. Next, we have Greg Fernandez, who writes, bravo, great vid. I feel like I should be paying a tuition for the Bryan Auer online class. I can't charge for this stuff. You can't put a price on this. OC Motivator says, very, very cool. There went my weekend. Thanks for sharing. The way I taught that effect, it should only take you about 5 minutes to just nail it, unless you're using Premiere Pro. Here's one from Doyle Terry. I have been an admirer of your video style for a number of years. Would love to see TV, fireplace, and sky replacements. Would you guys like to see that? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, here's one from Cheng Yu. Hey Bryan, I've seen this trick in music videos, but don't like it. Still, I subscribed to your channel. I'm so glad you did that, because now as a subscriber you can see a lot more videos you won't like. Thanks so much for watching this video, and please take the time to give it a thumbs up. Also, leave some comments down below. Please be sure to subscribe so I can be sure to catch you on the next one.